So running ultra marathons is hard. Not just in the sense that running the races themselves are hard, but I'm more specifically talking about how hard it is to stay motivated over really long periods of time that you're training. For example, I started running consistently in May of 2024, and shortly after that, I decided I wanted to run my first 100-miler. But when you're coming from a background of having not run for a couple of years, you need time to build up that durability to run that distance. Come on, please start. Let's go. In the past 12 months, I've run a handful of shorter ultras, including my first 100K, and I've run roughly 2,000 miles. That's like running from my old apartment in Pacific Beach, San Diego, all the way to Pensacola, Florida. Now, I know for some people that have been running for their whole lives, or maybe they've been running for decades, that may not sound like a lot of miles, but for someone like me, that was a really big lifestyle change. I'm gonna be honest, I'm starting to feel a little burnt out, but this whole week, I'm trying to figure out the solution to that. So, how do you stay motivated, Joe?
I've been really training for ultras hard since like 2019, and I think the big thing honestly is I don't stay motivated and I stop putting my weight in motivation. And I think when I first started to get into not just running but like personal development and mindset changes, like I would feel bad about myself on the days that I didn't feel motivated and I didn't want to get out there. And then I realized that that doesn't matter. Like motivation shouldn't be the factor that gets you out the door. It should just be like, how important are your goals and what's the weight in how much you are putting into the direction that you want to go and the person you want to become. And at that point, it doesn't matter if you're motivated or not, you just get up and go do it. When you have the clear direction on where you want to go, the motivation doesn't matter, the goals do. And that's the thing I always tell myself. So I think the way that I stay motivated is I actually don't stay motivated and I don't put any weight in motivation. I put more weight into the goals that I'm chasing.
Okay, sorry about that. I was in Phoenix for some work stuff. I'm back home now. So motivation. I agree with Joe, like 99, 95. What is that sound? I think a lot of people lean into that whole SMART goal thing. Have you ever heard of that? Where it's like the A stands for achievable. I think a lot of people lean into that really, really hard. And it's all about, just having this thing that you can accomplish. And that's great at first to, stack up some quick wins, that kind of thing, and get yourself moving in the right direction. But I think eventually you get to the point where having small goals isn't really enough. When you get to that point, you have to choose goals that are like so far beyond what you think you're capable of that you have no choice but to go all in on it. When I started getting into ultra running 100 miler was like the absolute pinnacle of ultra running success. At the time, I'd only run like 20 miles a handful of times, and it always just felt like the worst thing I'd ever experienced. Because of how wide that skill gap was in where I was to the person I had to become to accomplish something like a 100-miler, I just had to completely commit all of my extra time and energy into this process of being able to run a 100-miler. Basically what I'm saying is I have worked my ass off for the past year. And although I can't say for sure how things are gonna turn out in 14, 15 weeks, the race is in October. It's the last weekend in October. What I can say is that I actually feel way more prepared for it than I expected. And I don't think that would have been the case if I had just half-assed my way through the past year and not committed so much focus to this one thing. One last tip on motivation before I go on my run. Motivation is a lot like fishing. You can sit in the right spot, you can bring the right bait, you can be there all day long, and you might not catch anything. Sometimes, whether you like it or not, you just gotta go do the damn thing. But I think a lot of times you'll find that once you get started and you get some of that momentum back on your side, it becomes much easier to do it. And I know there's a billion people out there that preach the whole change your habits, develop a system to make things easier. And I get all that, but do you know the one system that worked better than anything else for me to get running every single day I had to work out and miss I think maybe 2 workouts the entire year, not counting the time I was violently ill? Literally just put on my shoes and walk outside. I don't tell myself I have to go run. I don't tell myself, you know, this is my workout. I don't grab and prep a bunch of stuff. I literally put on my shoes and I go out the door. Because once I'm out there, it's kind of hard to justify coming back in. I'm like, I've already made it all the way here. I might as well just go run. A lot of times what happens is I'll go run for like 20 minutes and I'll just loop back in my neighborhood, and then I'll grab a bottle of water, and then I'll grab my headphones or whatever, because I already have that momentum in the right direction. I'll just run back in for like 60 seconds, grab the stuff I need, and then I'm back out the door. Whereas if I try to do all that beforehand and I build up this run or this workout, whatever I have to do, into this thing that's bigger than it is, it's really hard to get started. Just put on your shoes. You don't have to run far. You don't have to run fast, but you do need to run. So I have an easy run today. I will spare you the very boring details of that. I'm just going out for an hour to plod along in the 90% humidity. See you next week.